What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Mid Ticket Offers, and I wanted to cover a little training, kind of detailed, but a little training on doing my best to offer you an advantage online if you happen to be an online coach, online business owner, maybe you have an offer, drop shipping website, maybe you're a SaaS company and you have your own like landing page, blogs, etc. Or maybe you're a brick and mortar business and you have a website and you just need more traffic or eyes on your website in order to make more sales. So I was listening to an interview slash podcast where two guys very familiar with website creation, back end like tools and setups as far as SEO, search engine optimization. Uh, and they were speaking about something that a lot of the terms they were talking about were just going over top of my head. But for the most part, I grasped the concept of what they were speaking about. They were speaking about this thing called schema, and I did a deeper dive for myself so that I could use it for my website. And after implementing it and seeing exactly how it's done, I think I have a pretty good grasp of, or at least enough to like walk you through exactly how to harness the power of it. So I put this together. I'll walk through explaining everything about schema, what exactly it is, how it could improve your search optimization as it pertains to Google when people are searching for you, your offer, your name, whatever it is, and how it's going to improve eyeballs on your offer and or those pages, which specific to coaches could lead to more sales, more clicks, more click-through rate, as well as more sales for your offer, your online program, whatever it is that you have going on online. So this is just a way to make your website stand out over anyone else's with a system, or I guess a tool that most people, at least from what I've through the conversation that I've heard, most people aren't using this. And there are people out there that specifically help businesses online with websites, landing pages, checkout pages, all of that. There are like schema businesses, not schemes, but schema businesses, like web dorks or computer nerds that do just this for businesses, improving their eyes on their businesses online. And also, from what I hear, is when they charge or what they charge, their price point is pretty steep. $10,000, $20,000 for them to go into your website and do this type of thing. So, if you want to take it for what that means, by going through this training and implementing it yourself, you can save yourself $10,000 to $20,000 if you so want. So I'm going to do my best to walk you through this. The way that I learn is relatively visual. I'm going to show you a couple other pages as we're walking through exactly what I did, what it is that you could like see, how it is that you could walk through installing all this, and we'll take it from there. But I learned very low level. I need it to be explained to me like I'm a child so that I can get a firm grasp of understanding step by step. What is it that I'm looking at? Why does it matter? How can I put it into practice myself? And I'm going to do my best that I can to do exactly that for you here today. So first and foremost, we need to know what we're speaking about. So what is schema? So imagine that the world of information online is a giant bookshelf or a library, and your website or your offer on the landing page, your VSL, your video sales letter page, or your brick and mortar shop, its website is its own book, right? Now, when people are searching on, let's just say, Google, and they're typing in information and they're looking for something specific, all Google sees, if schema isn't embedded into your website, all Google sees is just like the name of your business. And if it's not the cookbook business and somebody is looking for a cookbook, it's not going to register, and Google's not going to pick up that that's the book that the person's searching for a specific title or a specific keyword. That it's not going to show it to them, right? So right now, when somebody searches for help, Google sees your book, but it doesn't know exactly what's inside of the book. So Schema, what it does is it's like adding a table of contents as well as a summary of everything that's included inside of your book, making it super easy for when somebody is searching for those like little keywords. It makes it really easy for Google to understand exactly what's inside of that book. And then it says, this is what you're looking for. And then it shows it to them. So why does it matter to you, and why should you even care? What ends up happening is the more information that Google knows about your business and what's happening on each one of those pages, or on your web page, on your website, on your checkout page, on your product page, on your brick and mortar store's website page, the more that Google knows what's going on those pages, the easier it is to show that to people that are searching for certain words that are included in there, right? But ultimately, why it matters is if people are easier able to find our web pages much more easier, then they're more likely to see it. And then if you have some sort of offer on those pages, then they're more likely to buy it, right? So more clicks simply equals more sales. That's ultimately why including Schema on your web pages means so much, because when you do it, it's going to mean more eyeballs, more clicks, and ultimately more money for you. So, for example, if your website is about coaching, Google can display your name, your course details, reviews that you happen to have on that course, and even some frequently asked questions on the search, right? So that's a lot of information. So if somebody's online searching for, the typical question that's asked about a program like yours, and that information pops up as far as a search from Google, it's going to display your program first to them. So if you sell a course, Schema can help show your pricing, your ratings, right in any sort of search results. So again, more info equals more people clicking, more people seeing, more people clicking, and then ultimately more sales. So what are some of the game changers that in implementing Schema on your web pages could mean for specifically coaches online that have some sort of offer online? It's going to help Google find you faster. It's going to make your search results stand out. It's going to mean more clicks equal more clients with the click-through rate. That's what CTR stands for. It's also going to, I found this extremely interesting, it's going to boost voice search. So for a lot of households, I don't know the exact number, but I know it's a ton that have Alexa. They've got like the Google speakers or Siri. It's going to understand your site better based on voice optimization. And then beyond that, it's going to give you and your online offer a cutting edge in the industry, because right now most businesses don't even use this process. So you'll have an extreme advantage or a leg up on other businesses. There are a couple different types of schemas based on the use case, or like the usability for it. There's a simple website schema, which just tells Google about your entire website. There is web pages schema, which helps Google understand specific pages and the information that's on those pages, which we're going to go into more detail with that. That's what I used for my landing page. There are product schema. So if you sell a course, it'll show the price of the course, reviews, and details in search results. There are FAQ schemas. So some of you might even have an FAQ page on your website. The most commonly asked questions from ideal prospects or people that buy your stuff, and you would plug in an FAQ schema on that particular page. Then article schema. So if a lot of you might have blogs, or maybe you pair up your podcast transcript and you put it onto like a blog, page on your website, you would use an article schema, and it's going to help Google feature your posts and articles inside of search results. So let's get into step by step how it is that we're going to plug in this. So step number one, we need to gather. It refers to it as like Lego pieces. Again, I got the information on how to describe this as if like a third grader was learning it. So we got to gather certain components and certain info that is needed. The basic info that will be needed will be your brand name, a link to whatever website or web page you plan to embed this schema in, your logo. So you can just copy and paste the actual logo URL. Best way to do this is to actually go to your website and right click and copy the code or image information and then plug that into right here. Short brand description. So what do you do? What is your brand all about? Who do you help? What do you help them do? What problem do you help them solve? And if there's any benefit from working with you, I would include that as well. When did you form the company? What is your actual name if you are the CEO or founder? What is the back end? And I would recommend using a Google contact email. So if you have Google business and you set up a business email with your like web domain, for example, my contact info is info@midticketoffers.com, but it's all housed inside of Gmail. I would use that as well as your contact phone number. So if you have a business phone number, set that up. Social media links, really important. I did a very diligent job on this. I went through Facebook group. If you have a Facebook group, Instagram, business Instagram profile, so personal business Instagram profile. If you have a Twitter, and then obviously known as X now, Twitter account, Twitter business account. If you have a YouTube channel, as well as LinkedIn, and then any other social medias that you use to speak to your brand and or ideal prospects, you would want to list them out. Facebook, then the information. So here are a couple different bits of information we need based around specific types of schema. So for a website, again, we just need a brand name, URL, logo, description of the brand, the founder, contact info, and social media links. For a web page schema, we need the page title, URL of it, description, author, publish date, and some additional information. Product schema. So if you had a drop ship and you had a different product on each page, or if you have the specific landing page for the course that you are selling online, this is what you would use. Course name, the price of the course, the description of the course, the URL, availability, instructor, some reviews, that type of stuff. FAQ schema and article schema. I think I already explained those, and then we're going to go into a little bit more detail with what it is that we're looking for as far as information, so that we can have AI build out the perfect schema code so that we can plug in. So I'm going to cover the first three, but we have highlighted down here product schema, which is the one that I used for my video sales page, which is essentially my landing page, which goes directly to midticketoffers.com. But if you just had a website, right, which a lot of you do, this is the information that you would want. You would want the brand name, website URL, the logo information, description of your entire business, your name, if you are the CEO or founder, the contact information, as well as all social media links associated with that brand, yourself, and that website. If you want to see what an example of website schema is going to look like, you can check that out right there. Now we have web page schema, and this is for the individual pages on your website. So a lot of you also have like an about me page, or maybe even like a testimonial page, right? This is where you would get more niche down as far as the information that's needed for each one of those web pages. So really important, just to kind of take a step back, really important to understand the differences of the information that's needed for each one of these case web pages or web page styles, because as we plug in the data and the code that is needed for Google to find it, as we're plugging in the relevant information for each one of these pages, when somebody is searching for something specific, it's going to direct them directly to that page, rather than always just referring back to your main landing page, right? So it acts more of like a very precise, kind of like funnel, directing any audience member that is searching for certain keywords. It's going to point them in exactly the right direction of which they need. So web page schema, page title, page URL, description, the date that that page started, or the information on that page started, any sort of modifications that or updates that have been made to that page, the author's name. Again, if you want to see what that schema looks like, you can look there. So we've got the FAQ page schema, article schema, and then I'm going to focus on this one here. So this one here has all the other information that we have before, including course name, course description, course pricing. These are all just examples that are inside of the brackets. Course URL, course image, availability. That one is, you could just put like evergreen if you don't have any like limitations. I've got a done for you service that I only offer 5 of them per week, so I would plug that in there. Your name, if you are the instructor, any sort of reviews, rankings, testimonials, as well as any links to any, like there's like Trustpilot review or Google reviews, that type of stuff. You could put in the link to that URL for your specific business's Google reviews page. So how do we generate our code once we have this information? So I've got various prompts here that you can utilize once you have decided, number one, what type of page do you need the schema code for? And then once you know that, right? So many of you are going to be one of these top 3, either your overall website, a specific web page, or your program page. I would start there, and then you can always go back and plug in the schema necessary for individual pages, whether you have FAQs, all that other stuff. But just to start getting traction through Google Analytics and getting more eyeballs on whatever is most important for you, which obviously is likely sales, I would probably go with your course page or your overall website or your landing page, right? But once you decide, okay, I need schema to plug in on this particular page, I'm going to cover this one here. And then you pull out all the information that you need, you format it, just write it out on a doc, and then plug it all the information in. Next thing that we need to do is we need to generate our schema code. So really, really simple, since we're focusing on this one. Simple prompt to get your course page schema. So you can see here, schema code is referred to as a JSON -LD code, and it's also referred to as markup. That's the language that website pages, Google, all I guess online language. That is the type of language that they speak in. It's very hard to understand, so that's why I like to make things as super simple as possible and just ask ChatGPT to create it for me. So generate JSON schema markup for my coaching course. Course name is course name, priced at all the information that we had before, instructor's name, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What I like to do when I'm using this is I'll copy and paste the information that I already have. So I'll show you in a second. And then I will ask ChatGPT to use the following prompt to, and then I plug in the prompt. Okay. So here is the information on my own doc. So I have all the information about my course, my website, my landing page, all of that, right? See the short description, my logo information, what's the basic URL of it, what's the name of the business. I've got all the information that was needed for my website page that is also my course page, or at least is the video sales letter page that is speaking specifically to the course. So you would want to do the same type of thing. You would want to come back here, whichever page you decide to get the schema for, and copy and paste the information that you need. Go plug it in, maybe at the bottom of this document. Separate it out, plug in the necessary information, and then from there you can speak to ChatGPT and ask it to formulate your own specific schema code that you would need. Okay. So let's take a look at, once I've extracted the information that I need and I plugged it out in my document, I went over and I actually used Deepseek to plug in that exact prompt to give me the code. And if you aren't super familiar with operating within either Deepseek or ChatGPT, they both have, you can copy and paste the direct code. But before we do that, we need to know where it is that we're placing it. So how do we add it into our website? This here is what it refers to as the easy way. I don't really use plugins too much. I find them a little bit more confusing. I would just do it manually because it is relatively easy to do it manually, which is considered like the techie style, but it's really just a copy and paste and plug in, so long as you know where the header code goes on your website. Now, I operate everything that I utilize with my CRM tool and my landing pages and my websites. They're all hosted in a software known as Go High Level. I use Elite 360, which is a white label version of Go High Level, and I'll show you that in a second. But all of these web pages are very similar, and being able to find the header code should be pretty easy for you, regardless if you operate inside of Wix, WordPress, or any of the other like big website hosts out there. It's pretty easy. It looks just like this, and I'll show you what it looks like for mine. So what I did was I figured out what type of page I needed code for. I got the necessary information that was required in order to create the schema code. I went and plugged into Deepseek the information as well as the specific prompt to get that schema code for that specific type of page. And here was the code. I copied it, and then I went over to this is the back end of my website hosting platform, and you can see here, this is the header tracking code. It will look like this, or it'll actually say header inside of there. And when I click on there, I had already pasted it in my schema code. So I'm just going to back out of here. So it's as simple as that. Once you've collected and copied and pasted your code and pasted it into your header, then what do? We need to test out and make sure that everything is speaking to Google. And from there, what we would do is go into the google.com test rich results page. The link is right here. Now, one thing that I will say is anytime you're making any sort of adjustments to your landing pages, typically it takes about a day for everything to register, specifically as it's speaking with Google. If you've ever changed your DNS path for any sort of domain names, usually takes about a day unless it's something gets sped up on the back end, but we don't really have too much control of that. So you may plug in your schema code in your header and then rush right over to the rich results page to check it out and test it, and nothing will come up and you might think that you hadn't done anything right. I would just wait until the next day, give the test results, and go from there. So I'll show you what this looks like. You'll plug in your domain name of whatever page you plugged in the schema code to. And then you'll get certain indicators like this as to whether or not it all worked. So it'll say, yes, check mark, validated item detected. Crawled successfully. I don't quite know what crawled means. I think it just means that it like scraped the inventory of all the information, and it definitely like it can be demonstrated on Google search. And I have no idea. Maybe this means like the organization structure of the actual code is valid, something like that. However, this is the most important one. So just so you know, when I did this the next day, I was getting like not detected invalid. So if you happen to get that, this is the best part of speaking with AI, is how do we troubleshoot some of that? Exactly what it is that I did was I saw invalid, something else was like right here. So all I did was I copy and pasted this. I plugged it into Deepseek and I pasted it and I said, here is what I am seeing. And then it gave me step-by-step guidance on exactly what to do to correct that. So what I had done originally was I didn't plug in the schema code in the right header space. I was plugging it in CSS code, which has nothing to do with like search engine optimization. It has more to do with the like creative tools of building out websites. So I just didn't plug in the code in the proper space. There might be other things that you would need to do. I also needed to change some TXT or text data for my domain. So I had to go into GoDaddy, which is where I purchased my domain from, and I had to go into the DNS records of that domain, and I had to just change something, but it walked me through exactly what it is that I needed to do. So over here, troubleshooting, simply whatever it is that you see, as complicated as it could be, copy and paste it, plug it into the AI chat that you're utilizing to produce the code for you. Tell it, that's what I see. Help me work through this so that I can correct it. It'll give you step-by-step troubleshooting details so that you can do exactly that. So just to wrap everything up, let me show you. So after 24 hours, when I figured out I got my compliant test results, I went and checked myself out. I went and checked my offer and my company name on Google. I also went and checked my personal search information. So just so everybody knows here, and we're very clear, I've Google searched myself before, and like I wasn't showing up in like the handful of like first like 4 or 5 pages, even though I have like at least what I consider to be a relatively unique name. Like how many David Harleys are there in the world? Apparently there's a ton. And I was not showing up in images, anything like that, until after I plugged in my schema code into just my one VSL landing page, which is speaking to my program. And now, boom, here you go. My images are coming up first. My Instagram, speaking about mid-ticket offers, is popping up on the first search page. Same thing with my website. So if you type in mid-ticket offers, my web domain is the first one that pops up because we plugged in the schema and now it's speaking to Google. And if anybody is typing in anything around mid-ticket offers, or if they hit on any of the keywords about the program or anything like that, first page, Google search, boom. So what does that mean? More eyeballs on my website. What does that mean? More eyeballs or potential clients coming in to working with mid-ticket offers. So what does that ultimately mean? It means more money. So also that I get to help more people, which is really fantastic. So this is something that few people are doing in the industry. They probably don't even know what the heck it is because it's fairly complicated. So if you have any inkling of like tech skills and you feel like this is something that you could definitely like incorporate yourself, I did it. I don't have very many, a broad range of tech skills, and I was able to do it. And now you see that I'm landing on the very first page of Google Analytics or Google searches. It's free. As long as you like work through some of the troubleshooting and get the proper code and know exactly where to put it into your header space inside of your websites or the various pages, and you know what type of code goes into those pages, it's absolutely free. Just a little bit of work on your end. Boost your course, offer, website visibility, help you stand out in any search result. Be the first person or company or business or online coaching program that shows up on a Google search. And if you follow this straight away and you plug it in, I mean, maybe it'll take you 10, 15 minutes, maybe take you 30 minutes, but you know, probably well worth the time and whatever hassle or headache it could possibly be of working through this, of plugging in your own schema code on your website. So I guess your homework would be to go figure out which specific type of page you would like to plug in your schema code on first. I would recommend either your main landing page or your specific web page that is speaking to your offer. Most of you have a little video training on there, also known as a video sales letter. I would start there because that's probably the most important. You likely have a call to action to ask anybody that lands on that to invest, to enroll with working with you or purchasing your item or your thing. I would start there personally. And then once you've done so, if you're watching this video, you're part of the community. If you're not part of the community, click the link below the video. I'll make sure that I have that link for the community for trainings just like this. I try to do my very best to deliver trainings like this for free, helping you grow your business, scale your offers online, and make more money to help more people. So click the link below to join the community. It's absolutely free. There's already a bunch of trainings packed inside of there. And if you found this valuable, just drop a comment below or message me on any one of my social media platforms. I'd love to hear how it's going for you and some of your rich test results. So have a great day, guys. Hope you found this extremely enjoyable. I know that I absolutely love the outcome here. Peace.